Welcome back to Faith and Practice. I'm Jimmy, and this is part 6 in our series in biblical theology. So as we wrap up the books of Moses, there are a few more ways in which we want to lay the foundation for our understanding of what God is doing in the Old Testament. So just to recap, when Eden was lost, mankind lost the place of communion with God, and God set out to restore it. And when God chose Abraham, he promises to give Israel a new land that is flowing with milk and honey. It's a new country that's like Eden, which enjoys rest, agricultural prosperity, where fruit grows. And that's what he promises in the covenant with Israel. And the book of Deuteronomy helps us here. So in Deuteronomy 28 through 30, God spells out his covenant with Israel. And these are pivotal chapters for our understanding of Old Testament history. So the new Eden is the promised land, where God lives with his people again. It foreshadows the replacement of the paradise that was lost by Adam. And if Israel is obedient, unlike Adam, then the Lord will bless the land with an Eden-like fruitfulness. It says that the Lord will grant you abundant prosperity in the fruit of your womb, the young of your livestock, and the crops of your ground in the land that he swore to give to your ancestors. That's Deuteronomy 28:11. And in contrast to the curse of hard and frustrating labor that we read about in Genesis 3, it says that the Lord will send a blessing on your barns and on everything you put your hands to. So in other words, if Israel is obedient to the Lord, unlike Adam was, they'll inherit what Adam didn't. And this, of course, raises the question, what happens in the case of disobedience? And we don't need to really look further than Genesis 3, because when Adam sinned, he was cast out of the garden. And in the same way, if Israel is disobedient, there's only one appropriate punishment. They will be cast out of the land and sent into exile. And so just like we would expect, Deuteronomy 28 and 29 teach us exactly that. First, the Lord will send warnings in the form of drought and weeds and fruitlessness and painful labor to show that Israel is beginning to lose the paradise. And ultimately, we read in Deuteronomy 28:64 that the final end of the curses is that the Lord will scatter you among all the nations from one end of the earth to the other. Among those nations you will find no repose, no resting place for the sole of your foot. So the land is a place of rest, while in the exile Israel will find no rest. So this theme of the land of Israel as being a prototype of paradise and Eden, it's not a strange or imaginative reading. It's actually what Hebrews 4 tells us. Hebrews 4 teaches us that Israel was supposed to present a penultimate form of paradise. In its shortcomings, it would actually teach us that we have a need for a better paradise, a better land, a better Eden, and a better place of rest that Christ brings us. But none of this is hopeless. As you probably know, Israel did fail and was exiled, but Deuteronomy teaches us even more than this. So in Deuteronomy 17, 14 through verse 20, we read that there will be a king that the Lord chooses to reign over his people. And the mark of a good king will be one who internalizes the word of God and who fears the Lord. And that picks up and develops the blessing of Judah in Genesis 49:10 that we mentioned in a previous video. The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff between his feet, until tribute comes to him, and to him shall be the obedience of the peoples. And even more stunningly, Deuteronomy 18:15 promises that one day there will be a new prophet like Moses, who is the mediator of the old covenant, and it says, it's to him that you shall listen. And finally, in Deuteronomy 30, after listing all the curses for disobedience and threatening exile, we read, when all these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse, then the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your offspring, so that you will love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, so that you may live. That's Deuteronomy 30, verse 6. And so as we go into the history of the people in the land, as we progress in the story of the Old Testament, we're looking for a new mediator of a new covenant, the true and better prophet like Moses. We're expecting that Israel will fail, because it says when these things happen, but that even after that failure, the Lord will remove the impurity from even the hearts of his people, and that even then, in spite of that failure, the kingship will never depart from the house of Judah's descendant. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check out the links in the description below if you want similar content like this from our podcast or our website. Oh, frick. It's like...
Just collect
Be afraid. What's the first sentence? Thanks for watching. Frick, I couldn't think thanks for watching.